Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lopez, and in today's episode, we're going to be discussing the top 5 things that they do not teach you in film school. Welcome to today's episode, and today's episode, I want to talk about film school. I know, I've been working in the industry for a long time, and I get asked a lot of times. People ask me, for themselves, or maybe they have kids, and they ask me about film school, whether or not I think it's worth, for them to go to film school. And, it is a tricky question because you have to consider, whether or not a person can, is it really worth your time and money? Obviously, film school, some of the top film schools, it can be, as much as $80,000 a year. So I wanted to put together a list of things, that will basically tell you, from my perspective, from what I've learned working in the independent industry as an independent filmmaker. I run my own production company, and I've been doing so since 2004 when I made my first film. And I've learned a lot. So I want to share my top 5 things that they do not teach you in film school. So number one is, it doesn't matter where you go to film school. In my opinion, and what I mean by that is, it doesn't matter if you go to a top film school or just small film program, small university, college, whatever. I think at the end of the day, it really depends on you and the kind of dedication, the kind of work you put in. A lot of times, people, I want to go to, this school or that school, the top school in the country. And in reality, they're going to teach you the basics. So it really doesn't matter to me, where you go. As long as, if that's what you want to do, you want to, spend those 4 years and you want to learn, about film school, I think it really doesn't matter where you go, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to have to put that into practice. They can teach you the theory, but you're going to have to go out there, practice, and basically, do all the hard work. Okay, so number 2 on my list is that getting a job in the industry, the industry is really, really hard. And what I mean by that is that, a lot of people, they go to film school, then with the hope that they're going to get a job, working for Paramount Studios or, at a major Hollywood studio or network. And that can be very, very difficult. Aside from the big markets like New York, LA, Atlanta, Chicago, maybe Miami, it's really very, very hard to get a job in the industry, at least when you're first starting out. Obviously, once you have, maybe 5-10 years of experience, it could become a little easier. But in the beginning, without having the right connections or knowing somebody, an insider at a network or something like that, it can be very, very difficult to get a job. Now, it's not impossible. But don't think that you're gonna, graduate and then it's gonna be easy to find a job. Most of the people that I know, that I went to school with, and people that I mentor, some of the interns that I've had over the years, they've ended up working for small TV stations, small local channels, small production companies like myself. The bulk of them, that's usually the route that they go, rather than, going and working for a major studio, major network. So don't think that that's going to happen right away. That might take some time. It might take you some years to get to that. And I'm not saying that you won't, but just know that it's going to take some time. And you don't have to. I mean, I know plenty of creators and filmmakers that they work, independently. They do freelance. They work for like I said, small production companies, and they're doing okay. They're making money. They're making enough money. They're happy. They're doing what they like. They're doing what they love, and I think at the end of the day, that's really what matters. Okay, number 3 on my list of things that you do not learn in film school is that you have to find your niche. And what I mean by that is, when you go to film school, they teach you the general. Most times you're going to learn the general. Basically, you're going to learn a little bit of sound, a little bit of camera, a little bit of producing, a little bit of script writing. But once you're done with that, once you graduate, once you're done with film school, you want to find a niche for you. You want to find what it is that you want to pursue, whether that be, do you want to be a sound person? Do you want to be a producer? Do you want to be a cinematographer, an editor? Because when you come out and you start looking for jobs, you're gonna wanna you wanna know what it is that you're good at. For instance, I get a lot of resumes because I hire a lot of freelancers. Basically my company, New Style, is basically me. I run the company by myself, and then I hire a lot of freelancers on a case to case, job to job basis. So basically, if I get a call, I need to shoot a commercial or a music video, a film, and based on the size of the job, sometimes I gotta hire one person, sometimes 2, sometimes 5, sometimes 20. So I do a lot of, I work with a lot of freelancers, and I've been doing that for years. And so I know that it is important, when I'm looking for, let's say, a camera guy, I'm looking for a cinematographer, a second camera person. Again, it is important for me to know, it is important for you to have that skill rather than the general, than just knowing sort of the general of filmmaking. You want to really know, and you want to develop that niche for yourself. Again, it could be whatever it is. It's got to be something that you not only you're good at, but something that you like. You know what I mean? I think when you go to film school, at first, some people might know what they want to do. Some people don't know what they want to do. But I think eventually you do get to a point where you know what it is that you like. I remember same thing with me when I went to film school. At first, I had no idea, what I wanted to do. But, I think after the first or second semester, I decided, I like cinematography, I like directing and producing, and so I went in that direction. Later on, I developed skills as an editor and things like that. But my primary job right now is producing, and I do a lot of cinematography. And obviously, some of the work that I do, I direct. Some I don't. But I think it is important for you to, develop that skill early, early rather than later, so that you can develop that skill. And by the time you come out of film school, you know exactly what you're good at and what you want to do. Okay, number 4, and I think it's one of the most important ones, is to know that hard work, it's more important than talent. And what I mean by that is you could be really good at any specific thing. You could be really good at, being a cinematographer. You capture beautiful images. But if you don't work hard, that is going to be a problem. A lot of times, I see it. I see it often. People that are really good at their craft, but they don't work hard. Versus, I see other people, they might not be as good. They might not have the same technical expertise, but they work hard. They're there early. They put in the work. And I think at the end of the day, those people, they end up getting further than the ones that are talented. So you have to understand that just because you're good, that's not going to translate necessarily into success, not unless you're putting in the work. If you're putting in the work, yes, absolutely. But if you're not, then you're not gonna, But if you're not, then it's gonna be difficult to be successful. So I think, understanding that and understanding that early could be a critical piece in you being successful. And I think we see this not only in filmmaking, we see this in other professions. You see that in sports. You see it where there's a guy, or a girl who might not be as talented as the other athlete, but she works hard. She hustles more. She's a hustler. She puts in the work. She's there early. Those people usually end up getting more out of their profession than the ones that are just good but they don't work as hard. Okay, and number 5, last thing on my list, but it's actually the most important one, and that is that you do not need to go to film school for you to work in the film industry. And again, what I mean by that, and again, like I said earlier, I work with a lot of freelancers. I'm constantly hiring. And to be honest with you, I actually never look at whether or not a person has a degree. When I'm checking them out to see if I want to hire them for a job, I always go off of the reel. I look at their work, I see what they've done, and that's really it. I don't think I even consider that. Like, it's not even something I consider whether or not the person went to school, whether they went to college. It's really not something that I'm looking at. You know what I mean? It really comes down to, let me look at your work. Let me see what you've done. What experience do you have on set? And usually that's the person who ends up getting the job. And I know tons of other creators, filmmakers, and other small production companies like myself who are always hiring, and they go by the same principle. It's really all about what the person has done, the resume. They check out the reel, the previous work, never really considering, whether or not they have a college degree. Now, this might be different, if you're applying at CNN, again, Paramount, Netflix, something like that. But again, those jobs are so, the amount of people that are working those jobs compared to the amount of people that graduate, it's just a tiny number of people. The majority of people that get college degrees, they end up working, freelance. They end up working for, small production companies, doing some work on their own, and that's really I would say probably the 80%, of people that work in the film industry. This is how they make their money. So you do not need to have a college degree. There's many ways to develop your craft. Obviously, there's a lot of tutorials online. There's thousands of courses, classes that you can buy and download. You can watch on your computer. There's thousands on YouTube for free. So there's a lot you can learn just, without having to go to film school. And obviously, it's going to come down to you, like I said at the beginning, whether or not you want to put in the work. A lot of people want the shine, but they don't want to put in the work. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Please like this video. I know that helps with the algorithm, YouTube, whether or not they show it to other people. So please like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want to stay up to date on some of the other episodes. And, we're usually uploading new videos every week. So again, thank you, and you have a nice rest of your day.